The 90s. A time when dial-up internet was a novelty, the Macarena was a dance craze, and Blockbuster Video was the place to be on a Friday night. It was the golden age of movies and video games, and for two young dudes named Jose and Kyle, it was the beginning of a lifelong friendship. Welcome to the Blockbuster Dudes podcast, where nostalgia reigns supreme and the popcorn never runs out.
Welcome back, Blockbuster Dude fans. It is I, El Duderino, always with
his dudeness.
Hey guys, so I had an interesting time here a couple weeks ago. Got the chance to go to the Days of the Dead horror convention in Atlanta, Georgia, which looks like they're actually going to have another one in October. So you need to go with me on that time, dude, because
I was going to say, I didn't get to go this one, so October's on the calendar, man. I already started writing it down.
We need to find
I'm ready to roll.
We need to find your old armor, meaning your old Blockbuster shirt, because, bro, no, you don't understand. I got so much Blockbuster love that it wasn't even funny. I mean, I had people taking pictures with me. I had people stopping me. And of all ages, like people like, oh, my dad told me Blockbuster. I even had parents that had little kids with them that when they saw me, they actually stopped me. It was like, son, this is what we used to have to do. We would actually go and see this guy. This guy was the keeper of stories for us. I was like, dude, that's like freaking poetic.
Look at that. I mean, you were the video bard.
Oh, dude. And hey, look, I didn't go in. Now,
Stories, singing, dancing, all of it.
Yes.
One place, one-stop shop, man.
Make it a Blockbuster night. Oh, my Lord. And I took our, I made a little, in honor of Flavor Flav.
Right.
If you know who that is, you know who that is. So you know he has his clock.
You know.
He has his clock, right? Mm-hmm. So you know how we got those 3D printed Blockbuster tickets that had a couple different things on it?
Oh, yeah.
So I had the one that said, "Be kind, please rewind."
Of course.
And I turned it into a necklace in the vein of Flavor Flav, and oh my God, was it popular!
If y'all haven't seen this, you need to look for it because it's amazing. It's
right
on his
here.
socials. I promise you can find them.
And let's make it easy on you. I'll just put a picture of it here. But no, like I said, I wore that all day. Like I said, from the moment I got in there, I took my jacket off because it was cold. But once I got into the area, took off my jacket, everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's a Blockbuster guy!" And everybody's like, "Oh, where'd you get the outfit?" And their shock was awesome because for that they realized it's not a costume.
It's not a costume.
It's a uniform.
Authentic.
This is vintage. And here's the cool thing: I bumped into several. You go to see the vendors and stuff, which we're going to talk about my haul here in a second because I want to make you jealous on some of this stuff.
I bet.
But as we're going through, I'm seeing filmmakers, indie filmmakers. The Buried Light Film Festival occurs there, so they actually have a film fest and film contest for independent films during this convention, and many others that are in the state. But I'm walking through, and one of the guys who's actually a producer / director for one of the features is being shown there. He looks at my shirt and he's like, "That's an authentic shirt." I'm like, "Yes, sir, it is." He goes, "I used to work at a Blockbuster in Texas." I was like, "Oh, heck yeah!" So we started talking, and you'll remember this Project Store.
Oh yeah.
Okay. For other Blockbuster alumni seeing this, you remember what Blockbuster Store was. Well,
and if you don't, you're very fortunate.
Yeah, for real. Well, here's the kicker. So he never heard of Blockbuster Store, but when we were talking about the time frames, he would have been there. And then I realized what it is. See, back in the day, Texas was the HQ.
Yeah.
So it turned out his district was actually the test district for when they wanted to make process changes or implement changes. His was one of the test stores. So he didn't realize that the reason we didn't hear of Project Store is they were the guinea pigs. So when I told him, yeah, they were doing this and this, he goes, yeah, they introduced that. They started having us try it out. I'm like, you guys were the prototype stores for became Project Store. So it was cool. It was a cool sit down.
I'm sure. Now, here's my question.
Yeah.
Is how many ideas and things get implemented there that were just straight trash that they went, okay, it's not going any further here. So he probably had a very unique experience, different from ours, that was, as much as we sit here and laugh about and make fun of these things, I'm sure he has much better stories, much better situations that came up that we can't even touch.
Oh no, and we talked a little bit about it, and he exactly what you said. There was things that lasted more than a week or two ended up becoming the norm, but they had things that lasted like literally I'm trying to remember one because we talked about a lot of it, but there was one thing. What was it? It was about the Dropbox stuff. Something about you can only check it so many times or something like that.
Okay, right.
Bro, that lasted like 3 hours.
I'm sure. Because at that point, you probably have customers ready to riot.
Oh, yeah.
Calling for your head, threatening to kill your children. I mean, it's going to be terrible.
And you remember the Dropbox, especially on a slow day, like a Tuesday or Wednesday, Dropboxes are not crazy full.
No.
But he's like, on those days, you'd open the Dropbox. And every time you open the Dropbox, following that regimen they try to do for half a day, every hour, it was just, exactly. And they were like, we can't keep doing this. Yeah. Like they had, I'm going to say the word engineer. That should hold a special place in your heart.
Oh, stop it.
Engineers try something.
I'm not at work. Let's not go there.
I know. But it's still the same premise.
Yeah.
People who aren't in the stores, who aren't on location at these places, come up with an idea that's totally unproven, and they don't want to listen to the people. They don't even want to get the feedback ahead of time. They don't want to be like, hey, what do you think of this? No, let's just try it. And we're like, bro, no. They're like, well, this should be more efficient. It's not. So anyway, we're going to jump off that. But no, so we met him, several people. So I met several former Blockbuster alumni, immediately Facebook friended me right then and there. People taking pictures of me. I got talked into doing the costume contest. Okay. I had no intention of doing the costume contest because, first of all, I have seen the costumes going there over time, and people put so much passion and love into their costumes that there is no way they spend months on some of these setups. And here I am. I'm just going to go in my closet and grab a t-shirt, grab a shirt and my khakis and, comb my hair.
It's not just how over the period of time that it takes them. It's the amount of time each day that they sink into it.
Exactly.
The effort, the processes they have to go through. I mean, it's so, in some cases, so intricate.
Oh yeah.
It's so detailed, and the amount how tedious that's got to be. Like you said, their creativity knows no bounds. And I got to imagine, I wasn't with you. I know some of the details, obviously, but the nostalgia alone probably had you in the running for like best costume. And like you said, you're like, I put on a shirt and a pair of pants and walked in.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, even though you weren't with me, my son Jaden was. So real quick, take a look. This is me going on stage.
Yeah!
And I love seeing all kinds of costumes. I've done costuming for years now. This, because I'm a Gen Xer, just makes me go, hell yeah.
Okay, so even the host, the guy that was actually hosting it, when I walked up, he's like, look, we see all these costumes, but this one, because the nostalgia in the 90s takes me back to, he's like, I just want to say, hell yeah. And as soon as I walk out is where he's saying, just hell yeah. And I got people cheering for him. I'm like, oh crap. And I even have people, they're actually like chanting, be kind, rewind. I'm like, dude, hey. But no, like I had people asking me about like the judge was like, hey man, I don't like your late fee. I go, man, look, it's $2.10. It just, I remember what it was in Riverdale. But no, they were like, so they were like, the judges were like, okay, hold on. So how much is this like, this is authentic? I go, yeah, the shirt is authentic. I even had my keychain, the Blockbuster keychain. I told them the only thing that's new, the pants aren't the pants are just pants. But like I had the lanyard and stuff. Yeah. That was new from Amazon. The case I had was actually the Blockbuster trivia game, which you can get on Amazon or any store. But I said the shirt and the keychain were actually vintage uniform pieces from back in the day, and they loved it. They said, look, it hit all the nostalgic feels. And the person who ended up winning, which I'm glad she won, her name is Sasha Galvin, I believe. And I'll tag her here. But she went as Pinhead.
Yes.
And she did an immaculate. She was a Pinhead in white, right? Right. Like white dress. And she actually pinned a reflective, I don't want to say not diamonds, but sparkle, whatever, rhinestones. She actually pinned rhinestones at the end of each of the pins. So when she walked up on that stage, it just lit up. It was like walking. It was like looking at a diamonds on her head. It was. I mean, dude, intricate.
And like I said, I wasn't there. Didn't see this in person. I have seen the pictures.
Yeah, that's right.
Now you guys have 2.
Exactly.
That's just awesome. And I'm sorry. Great job to her, man. That was fantastic.
And I mean, and she was awesome. Like I said, we ended up right behind it. I was right behind her in the queue in the line. So we were talking for like like a good half an hour or so, while we're waiting for them to start and everything. And she's telling me, I was asking her like how long her costume took. She's giving me the information, and I'm just like, wow. I mean, that's dedication. Mm-hmm. And then here's the funny thing is, we have people that are walking up to go to the contest to watch it, and they're like, oh, that's so cool, that's cool. And then they stop and he's like, oh my God, can I get a picture with you? And I'm like, sure, yeah. And I'm just like, in the back of my head, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie. Would I be stoked if I win? I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, would I feel guilty for winning? Yes, because like we said,
it's better that you didn't.
No,
I'm
glad.
Better that you didn't.
Well, look, she won, and she earned it. Look, straight up, she earned it. She's a cosplayer to look forward to look forward to seeing. And she totally earned it. And I'm glad that she won. But like I said, I'm not gonna lie. When I got up there, you felt the Blockbuster love. There is still love for Blockbuster. So much love, in fact, that we're gonna move on a little bit to my haul. And even though I got all the stuff in front here, there's a reason why. I'm gonna move this over because I found this little piece that I'm about to reveal at the Days of the Day convention. 3D printing is in full effect as far as vendors. There was vendors that had such cool 3D printed items, such as I guess I'll cheat. This puzzle box, admire the shirt,
right?
And this
actually a theme here.
Oh yes,
any connection?
Oh, just awesomeness is all. But no, this is 3D printed. Okay,
right?
And it actually does come apart. It's a little tricky to find the right grooves because it's like here we go. Every other piece, it comes apart, so you can mimic the movement. You can do the whole and do the thing to open it up. You can even put it where it's not quite in the square shape, so that way it mimics the different configurations. And it's heavy. You felt this off camera. It's actually, I mean, it's got some good weight to it.
It's definitely got good weight to
Comes with this cool stand right here. But like I said, 3D print stuff. And then the ode to resistance, especially for us Blockbuster dudes. Dude, come on. It's lit LED lights on the inside. The entire body is 3D printed. The back piece and everything else is black. The only color's in the front. But dude, I mean, dude, it's the Blockbuster signal.
Who are you talking to, man?
That's awesome. I mean, dude, that's so awesome.
It's like the sign on the side of
for
the
real.
road if you're driving by. Oh, there was Blockbuster.
I loved it.
It looks like the sign. It's great.
The vendor heard that there was a guy dressed in Blockbuster uniform, and he only had 3 of these. And by the time I got to him, this was not. He only had 2 left. He had the display, and then this was the last one. He still had box. When I walked up, he goes, "Hey, I heard you were walking around." He goes, "I got something you might be interested in." And he showed it to me. I'm like, "Yes, that will that." He's like, "So what you do with it?" I'm like, "This is going to be the centerpiece of this channel right here. This
as it should be."
I saw it, I knew where it was going to go.
It's branding.
Boom. That's right. Of course, whoever owns the actual branding don't sue us. Anyway, we're going to move past that. But no, Kyle, you should look. You should have gone. You should have gone. I know you couldn't. I forgive you. But October 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yep.
We need to go together and hit it in full force because, like I said, there was so much love for the Blockbuster nostalgia. I mean, I had this one lady.
Can I one up you if I do?
Yeah, you can. I got no problem. What you gonna do?
Well, you know this because I told you. You're just not thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm not going to have to take the game box.
I
have the authentic Blockbuster Amray with sleeve insert.
Look, I can tell you right now, I know I've got some somewhere here. I actually have the entire VHS classic Star Trek series with their cover art in the plastic stuff we used to put it in, not the cellophane that we used to, not the shrink wrap, but the actual like plastic little cases. Yeah. But I have the Amarays for the cassettes as well. They're somewhere buried next door.
Mine's not buried anymore.
I know. Shut up.
I have it in hand.
Yes. Okay.
You know what else I found, right?
What?
Since we're going there.
Okay, go there.
I kind of opened that box a little bit.
Okay.
I found in my buried trove of just nostalgia, if you will.
Yeah.
Blank VHS tape.
Oh my! Bro.
It's the Blockbuster video.
Oh, it's the
version of the one that says Blockbuster.
Oh wait, it's the actual Blockbuster brand.
Yes.
Blank tape.
Correct.
Damn. that brings back memories, man. What's funny is where I'm working now is a studio.
Wait, hold on real quick. Do you remember how long those things were?
They think, well, it depended on the type of speed you put it to record at. It had EP, LP, SLP, something like that. But I think the longest, depending on the tape, was 6 hours worth.
Yep.
I think that was EP.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mid was 4 hours. And then the shortest amount of time was 2 hours. However, the shorter, the better the recording was.
The quality,
so,
right.
Kind of like with CDs today or even hard drives, the more space you allowed it to take, the better the quality of the recording came out to be.
Right.
Wow, you took me back with that one, bro.
Hey, I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed. How you know that? I don't know.
And they all had locks.
I had to read the box.
And they all had a lock. So when you were done,
click.
there's a little tab that you would click, so that way you wouldn't accidentally record over it. But if you could do one of two things: you could lock it, or you could break the tab off and make it a permanent tape. However, there was a workaround. If you decided, hey, I don't need this anymore, you could just get a piece of Scotch tape it over it, and it would. It worked. My God, this is taking me back, Kyle. Oh my gosh,
I know, but. The thing about that is because, and again, kids nowadays, I know my kids have no clue about this.
Good Lord, dude.
They don't understand how, important those blank tapes became because just like for the music industry, people had audio cassettes and they would record, you had to wait for your song to come on, then hit record and try to record it off the radio.
Exactly.
Or if you were fortunate enough to have somebody who had the audio cassette and had a deck that had
an A and B, exactly. Yep.
Then you could do it. Well, same thing with the blank tapes.
Yeah.
If you had a dual setup
or two VCRs,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
dual VCR setup. Mm-hmm. You could record the tape onto another tape.
Not that we're advocating that at all.
Piracy is wrong.
That's right. Just don't ask.
I was saying, since we're talking about the past,
we're talking about theoretical stuff.
Yeah.
Now there were certain branded, not branded, but certain movie studio tapes that when you did this, you got a good copy out of it. But then there was others that when you did it, there was a bit of a scrambler signal. You know what I'm talking about? It'd look fine for about 5 seconds, then it'd do some weird,
jarble.
Yeah, looking like Spice Channel. Did I go there?
Wow, you went there? Oh, wow.
Listen, look,
Leave that there.
I'm leaving it there.
You want to know?
Well, no, it just snow and
Not safe for work,
dude. No, my. Well, dude, I don't even think that exists. I don't think that's existed in more than 2 decades.
I'm too old now. It doesn't matter.
Well, now the internet. So
the internet replaced all that a long time ago.
But no, dude, you actually have a blank Blockbuster VHS tape, really. Mm-hmm. Good God.
So the better question. The better question is what's on it. It's not.
There's
labeled.
no telling. There's no telling what that could be. But you got to understand at that point, it could be a movie. It also could be a sporting event.
I promise you, it's movie.
Okay.
Or movies,
plural.
There's probably at least 3 movies on that thing.
Oh, easily 6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
And back then, very rarely did a movie hit 2 hours. Back then, it had to be like a drama. You could almost tell if a movie was a drama by the runtime, or a comedy, or a horror movie. Yeah. So most horror movies were between an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes, give or take. Most comedies were typically an hour and 30 or less. Correct. Like it'd be like 80 something minutes, 88 minutes, things like that. But like a drama, a lot of times, man, those things were rarely plus hours.
Yeah.
Multiple cassettes. Gone with the Wind.
Oh Lord.
Titanic, when it first came out on VHS, was a 2 tape. Oh Lord, yes. But here we'll come back to that because we can go off on some tangents on this stuff. You know that.
Sure.
But no, the next episode you got to bring that. You got to bring that in so we can show them. But like I said,
something to look forward to.
Yes. So you weren't able to go. You weren't able to go with me this time. But October, you got to go with me. And yes, if you want to show me out, show me. That's fine.
Back to the hall, though. So we see the beautiful.
Yes, we do.
Decorative light here.
We see the puzzle box.
We see the puzzle box.
Here. This is very cool.
What else did you get?
This is
hall.
Well, here's a cool thing about any convention that is multimedia related, especially movies. you're going to find hard to find stuff there. Okay.
Yeah.
You may find stuff that you didn't want to find, which is definitely possible. You're going to find a lot of, in some case, I would say back in the day, bootleg. Nowadays, not really bootleg. Just they actually are getting official, just hard to find stuff.
Yeah, well, back in the day, it was definitely you could find a lot of bootleg stuff and tape traders and stuff.
Fantastic
like that.
Four bootleg 19
the Roger
movie,
Corman one,
which I actually have that somewhere.
Yeah, it's
god
you
awful.
Don't need it. Just look at the screenshots and you'll see all you need to see.
Turtle.
God, no,
dude, it's a freaking turtle shell. I'm sorry.
Yeah, stop.
Thing's head is a turtle shell.
But like you'd find that the one thing that was good about that time, though, like you said, you'd find things, especially for those of you if you're into anime, and you like the whole Japanese animation stuff. You at that time it wasn't prevalent. You couldn't find it very easily. It was very hard to come by. But going to conventions like not just like
Dragon Con,
like Dragon Con or
Atlanta Comic Con, like
Atlanta
now,
Comic Con now, or if you were obviously the San Diego Comic Con back in the day, like you could go there and you would find Japanese prints of the shows, and it's how a lot of people got into that back then. It was hard to come by, and that, like you said, conventions were a great way to find stuff that fed into that whole kind of culture that everybody those interests that we all have. Like it was cool, man. I always liked that part of it.
And also like with conventions and things like that is the camaraderie is meeting like-minded people. Even if they weren't a fan of what you're a fan of, they're a fan of something there. Right. So you're all fans there. You're all fanboys there, or fangirls, or just fans.
But that's the thing, though. Again, everybody's experiences are different. I have not had too many negative con experiences that I can think of. But what I can say is, like you said, everybody's a fan of something, but fandom is celebrated.
Yes.
Nobody's really looked down upon. I mean, even if it's something you're not interested in, like, trying to think of something that would apply here that would be good. Nothing's popping in my head right now. I'm sorry.
No, I got
you. Let's just say you weren't a fan of Superman.
Yeah.
Which most people are at conventions like that. But let's just say you weren't, and you saw somebody come in and cosplay as Superman. You're gonna go, man, that's pretty cool.
Whether you like it or not, you're gonna be like, dude, that's cool.
You appreciate that fandom, and that's like I said, and I think that's one of the things that always made those types of situations and conventions really cool.
No, easily.
Said, that fandom didn't matter what fandom it was. It was respected by everyone.
No,
and
definitely
appreciated.
No, most definitely. But with that being the case, speaking of fandoms, like I said, we can find really hard to find stuff at these conventions. One of those items is actually a hidden gem that I had you watch with me not that long ago.
Correct.
Because for some strange reason, you can find it now on Prime. It's on Prime Video now.
Yeah.
But beforehand, I had people like thinking I was crazy. I'm like, look, I remember this movie called this, and it takes place in a movie theater as a horror-thon, and it's a slasher flick. But everybody's like, what are you talking? Like, I can't find it. And we can only find it on IMDb, just the reference of it, not the actual movie. All of a sudden, it pops up on Prime, so we saw it, and it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, a Blu-ray copy of it, official Blu-ray, at the convention. And I am speaking of the 1991 movie, or 1990. It's 1991, one of the two. Correct me later. Popcorn. This is a fun horror flick. It really is.
That though isn't just popcorn. That's Popcorn, the special edition.
That's right. Exactly, the special edition. So this has all the behind-scenes stuff. It actually has the original artwork, and then they have this special edition artwork, which is referenced on the back. But it's one of those you can flip it. So you open it up, and you actually have the alternate artwork that you. So if you want the old school like me, it's there. If you want the special edition cover that they did, it's there. You just flip it inside and out, and that's it. But no, this was a fun film. It was a fun. I think it gained cult status, sometime afterwards. It did not do well in the theaters, which is fine. But the premise of the movie, when you finally watched it with me, like I said, it was a fun flick.
Yeah.
We can talk about this as its own episode, so we're not going to go too far into it. But it was a fun flick, and even the concept of the horror movie-thon, that is something I would love to actually see done today. Like, whether it's Buried Alive Film Festival or any kind of a film festival that's going on, something like that, just to kind of celebrate. Because this actually part of the story arc in here is something that used to happen, which they probably call it 4D. You have 3D, which is whatnot, but 4D would be like where certain parts of the theater were rigged to interact with the audience.
Yeah, it's interactive.
And that's what that is the genre this is kind of covering. But no, if you get the chance to check it out. But the point is, I found it. And physical media, this is another reason I'm glad I go to these places. Physical media is going the way of the dodo, unfortunately. You already can't find CDs at a local Best Buy or Walmart or anything hardly.
You can't find anything in there anymore.
And I've already seen, this is the other channels have already talked about this. Best Buy is phasing their physical movie media out this year. So it's getting harder and harder. Yeah, you can find it digital, but still, it's one of those. I like to look like right now. You can't see it, but I'm looking at old action figures that I've put up here for display, swords, things like that. And to the right here, which I can see, I think you can see on one of the cameras, you see my Back to the Future stuff, but you see my collection of horror there. That's that's one of like 4 pieces of furniture that have physical media on it. Yeah, but it's becoming a dying art. So there's something about being able to just pull it out, and actually being able to have it. So that's one thing I was happy to find. Another one, which is also hard to find. These were Scream releases, but they get pre-ordered fast. And then, like I said, Best Buy, Walmart, they're beginning to phase out stuff. So if it gets that harder to find the physical copy, collector's edition of the OG My Bloody Valentine. Now look, I already have this on digital. Mm-hmm. It's still sealed. It's going to stay sealed. But point is,
you're acting like a collector. God.
I am. Now,
you think you like this stuff or something?
Just a little bit.
Maybe I'm off.
Not much, just a little. Now, this one was a treat. Okay. I know. So,
something just fell off.
Yes, I wanted to show this off with it. So,
call that user error.
This is the only autograph I got. Yes, it's user error. This is the only autograph I got this year.
It's a skill issue.
And it is from one of my favorite. It's hard to say genre of this one because it has action, horror, and sci-fi. Aliens, the sequel to Alien. Now, there's a character in the movie.
Who directed that, by the way?
The first one was Ridley Scott. The second one would be none other than James Cameron, which I recently I found out, and I didn't realize this was the case, that apparently he directed Piranha 2, The Spawning.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. And then since then he's been trying to separate himself from it.
Can't imagine
unsuccessfully.
Why? Why would you want to do that?
Dude, I think, look, I've seen the original Roger Corman Piranha maybe a handful of times. I saw its only sequel to the original one, that is, once. And there's a reason. Well, we're going to leave that there. But anyway, on one of James Cameron's hits, they hit right.
Well, no, it hit is correct, and it holds a very nice distinction because it's one of the few movies
which he has multiple movies in that vein.
He does. All right,
I know where you're going.
Yeah, I know you do. Mm-hmm. It's not like we share a brain or anything.
Not at all.
Anyway, but it's one of the few movies that is a sequel that many, if not most people,
arguably
it better than the original. Mm-hmm. There's not many that fit into that.
But this
you
is
can
one
probably count on one hand how many are actually in that.
Look,
and like you said, Cameron's got 2 of them.
For me, this I'm going to say this. For me, there are only 3 movies, 1, 2, 3, tres, that can claim as sequels that might actually be better than their predecessors. And in no order, because I can't put which one is better,
Okay.
But in no particular order, that is what we're talking about here: Aliens. The other James Cameron one being, of course, T2, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Yep.
And the last one, The Godfather Part 2.
Just so you know, you're wrong.
That's for you. I'm saying that's wrong. Me. Okay, what's the third? What's for you? The third one, because we already know the James Cameron ones. But what's the
James Cameron ones? Actually,
what's the third one?
The third one, I don't. I'm sorry. When it comes to Godfather, I am an original over Part 2. To me, it's just.
That's why I said the word arguably.
I know it's more classic, but there is one movie that was technically a sequel to an original.
Okay, so maybe I didn't think. Okay, so maybe I didn't think about it. Go ahead.
But it's not just. It is part of a series.
Okay.
But the second one is widely considered by most people to be better than the original.
Okay, what? Give me a hint. Now, before you say, give us a hint.
It is in the science fiction genre as well.
Oh my God! Yes, okay. I already know what it is. Can I? No, Luke. I am your father. Empire Strikes Back. Okay, 4. Sorry,
it's okay.
I'm here. Like, how did I forget that one?
No,
you're right. No, you're right.
Do it.
You're right. But I'm going to tell you the reason why that didn't pop in my mind. And no, it's not a cover up. Is just at this point there is so much Star Wars media now today compared to back then that I hate to say it, almost with all of that traffic, it kind of gets lost.
No, I understand. I get it.
With The Godfather, there's 3 movies.
That's why I had to correct it, man.
No, I feel you. Mm-hmm. Look, I agree. I concur.
Most people don't acknowledge that Godfather 3 exists, though. I will say that too.
So
Very
anyway,
good, sir.
But back to James Cameron's Aliens.
There's also an Alien movie or 2 that people don't consider to exist either.
I choose to acknowledge the first 2 and Prometheus, and I'm going to stop there.
Really? Okay.
Here's we're going
to get sidetracked.
Okay, that's fine.
That's actually something I want to go into with you.
Okay.
Because I'm going to say this.
Well, here before we go, let me get this.
Go ahead.
So this is the only autograph I got, and it's Juliet Cole, and she is none other than the most badass character in my opinion. I'm sorry, Ripley is Ripley, okay? Sigourney Weaver, respect, okay? But this character was the most badass of the Space Marines. I love you, Hicks, but my girl Vasquez, that one scene where the crap is hitting the fan, trying to stay nice. Everybody has already surrendered all their ammo, but Vasquez, the badass that she is, she's like, nah, okay, here you go. And she's like, hey, Drake. She gives him a backup that she had, and she had a secondary backup for herself. So they're ready to go. And when the shit hits the fan and the aliens start attacking,
you went safe for work. Now you went not safe. For work?
No, because look, I owe it to her. Okay. Out of nowhere, everything's going wrong. She looks at Drake and she's like, literally out of nowhere, let's rock. And boom, 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 everything. They start turning the tide right there. It's because of them that the rest of the platoon survived. And if you don't know, that's a spoiler. Sorry. But no, she was there. And there was actually a vendor that does these there. And the name of the vendor is The Art of Barcode. And we're going to put this up so you guys can see it. Has beautiful stuff. He had Brandon Lee's The Crow. He had Jack Nicholson's Joker. I mean, dude, he had so much cool stuff. And I saw this and I knew she was there this year. So I bought it. I got her to autograph it. And when she saw it, she loved it. She's like, I have not seen one of those. And I was like, yeah, the vendor's literally just outside. She's like, really? So I told the vendor if I was able to get it signed, I'd bring it back so he could see it. And so he did. He got a picture of it. But no, I was like, and she looked at me and she was like, let me guess what you want on it. I'm like, oh, let's rock. I'm like, I don't want anything else other than let's rock. Come on.
You didn't let her guess?
Oh no, she looked at me, she smirked because I was cheesing, okay? Because here's the thing. Not only
were you that guy?
Yes, I was.
Oh man.
Oh no, she's
like, hey, look, I've been there, I've done it, I know what it's like.
Look, no, she was into it. No, she was when she saw that she was into it, it was cool. And a lot of people forget, because someone asked me like more about her, and I'm like, look, she was in Aliens, and that's probably the one that I think she's most recognized for that. But you have to understand, she's been in a couple of movies. She plays, AKA,
that?
Yeah, movies, yeah. She was, speaking of James Cameron flicks. Right. She is in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. She is John Connor's foster mother. Mm-hmm. Okay. That, we know what we're talking about there. She's also in Lethal Weapon 2.
Mom, how's Sparky? Or whatever it was.
Sparky's fine. Where are you, John? Your foster parents are dead. Deal. But no, she's been in a ton of movies. But like I said, just that character is just something about the way she did that character is just like absolute badass. Like the drill sergeant said, absolute badasses. So, okay. So, all right, Prometheus, Alien. What you want to get into, bud?
No, we're not going to go there. We'll save that for another time.
Okay, because the whole Alien. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. Alien.
You know who directed Alien 3?
I can't say.
David Fincher.
I could not recall. I could not recall that at all.
All I'm saying is he's kind of got a pretty good career. Just throwing it out there.
Oh no, I'm not saying he's
just throwing it out there. Hold
on. I'm not saying he doesn't have a good career.
I know that, and I understand.
Hey, so does James Cameron, and we still got Piranha 2: The Spawning.
Precisely.
That's all I'm going to say.
But I will say this, and this is a recent thing. I recently went back and had I'm going to say privilege of watching that movie again.
What, Alien 3?
Yeah. I hated it. But for whatever reason, I ended up watching it again. And I was like.
You didn't quite hate it as much, did you?
No. I was like, it wasn't that bad. There's a lot of redeeming parts of that movie.
Well, let me put it this way.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm throwing out there.
I guess
it's gotten over the years, it's gotten a lot of hate, and I think a lot of that hate is not exactly warranted.
Oh no, I would agree with you. I'm not. So let me put it this way. I don't hate the movie. Of all the Aliens movies, though, it was an attempt to. I want to say elongate the series because it gave it an ending by killing. Sorry, spoilers. It gave it an ending, but I guess the reason I had an issue with 3 is actually maybe not necessarily 3, but because of Resurrection. Because Resurrection undid what 3 did.
I hated Resurrection. I didn't like it.
That was
I wanted to like it. I was excited about that movie, the casting, and then it just. Didn't do it at all.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Sorry, didn't mean to get sidebar.
No, you're
didn't
you're
mean
fine.
The sidebar here in the alien discussion.
But I will say this, because like I said, we also have our sister channel, Destination Horror, where some of these conversations will happen as well.
Absolutely.
But what I'm going to throw out there is this: Alien, Halloween. Those are 2 franchises that we could probably have a multiple episodes about because of the retconning.
I was saying the consistent changes.
Good Lord. Prequels, sequels, lequels, whatever you want to call them. And with and in Halloween's case, pretty much a Halloween multiverse. You can actually have like 7 different experiences with every movie called Halloween, depending on how you watch it.
Yep.
In what order you choose to watch it and which ones you choose to not watch. Yep. You can actually have like 7 or 8 actual different story experiences.
We've talked about it before.
Yes, we have. So we'll not today, but we'll get into that. But that would probably be its own like scientific dissection of the Halloween verse.
That's going to take a minute.
Good
There's
Lord,
a lot there to tackle. Just saying.
Yeah, and it's just like how many? I mean, dude, we have how many different iterations of Laurie Strode at this point?
We're not even going to go there.
Played by Jamie Lee Curtis. In each one. That's what I'm like.
Mm-hmm. Like I said,
there's 3 timelines basically. Yeah, we're not going to go there. Anyway, so we're going to proceed. We're going to.
said I apologize for taking us down that tangent. It's my bad.
You haven't got to lack.
My bad.
So anyway, this is the only autograph I got, and I'm stoked about it. I was totally stoked about it. That's like, did I say it again? I'm stoked about it. I didn't get an autograph, but I did get a picture with David Naughton again. I interviewed him in 2015 at Days of the Dead. And like I said, just look, The American Werewolf in London is one of my favorite horror movies. It is the movie that got me into the horror genre. So that will always have a special place in my heart. And what was funny is I got a picture with him, and he goes, "Be kind, rewind. I like it." I'm like, look, Dean Cain. I told you about this. No, check it out. So I can't tell you how many of the celebrities that were there interacted with me first because of what I was wearing.
Yeah.
Dean Cain comes and he's getting his area set up, and he's like, "Be kind, rewind. I love it." And so we just started talking, and he's like, "So that's not a costume?" I'm like, "No, it's my actual shirt. It's still fit." He goes, "Hey," he's like, "Hell yeah!" Like fist pump me. I'm like, "Dude, I just shot the shit with Dean Cain. He gave me a hell yeah because it still fit."
I'm not the biggest Dean Cain fan.
I'm not talking about personal opinions.
No.
He was Superman. Go ahead.
Thanks for cutting me off, man.
I didn't mean to, man.
No, as I was saying, I'm not a big fan of Dean Cain, and I'm not even talking just about his personal opinions. I'm talking about his career. It's not been great.
No.
But I know why he's cool to you.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that he was good at and I actually enjoyed was Superman.
Dude. I guess that's the biggest thing. I feel like I just shot the shit with Superman.
That is where I was going. That is what I was trying to get at.
It
wasn't that it was Dean Cain.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it was Superman.
And he engaged me. That was a cool fight.
Yeah. You got called. Hey, you were there to, engage them, and instead you got engaged.
Yeah. It was cool.
You know what we call that? You know what that is, though, right?
What is that? What is that?
That's the power of Blockbuster.
It is, bro. Like I told you before,
you've been saying it all night.
Blockbuster love galore is what I experienced there. I mean, I even had one story that look, this person made me cry. This person made me tear up.
Nostalgia reigns supreme, man. I'm telling you.
But no, like, well, here's the one. Here's a one that hit home for me. So there was a lady that saw me, asked us to take a picture because she wanted to show her kids. I'm like, okay. And she sat down. She goes, "So you used to work there?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she asked what store. I told her. She apparently used to go to that store, but they moved a year before I started there. But point is, she knows what store it is. Mm-hmm. And she was telling me this story, and it really, dude, it got me. I mean, like, after we, went our separate ways, I teared up a little bit because she was telling me how at that time, her kids were small, and she was married. Her husband was an alcoholic, and Blockbuster was their escape. Like, going and just getting out of the house for hours, looking at all the different movie art, talking to the employees, and just getting out of that situation. And she's like, she was like, the people that work there will never know how, when they were kind to us and just talking to us about movies. It gave us a few hours of not being in that hell. And I was just like, just the littlest things, just, hey, oh yeah, that's a cool movie, this and this and that. And, I mean, no, it really meant something.
Learned, yeah, no, it's a lesson to be learned. And it doesn't have to be Blockbuster.
Yeah.
If you're in customer service, period, or if you're dealing with the public in any type of service fashion, whether it's, again, working at a retail store, whether it's, just interacting with people in general, you never know what that person on the other side is really going through and what they're dealing with. And so stories like that really hit. Again, we could spend all night talking about customers and stories that we've had. Especially when we talk about the Riverdale store, Bobby is going to be. Oh yeah. He's going to be a guy that comes up a lot just because of everything that man went through was insane.
But he would give you the shirt off of his back.
He would,
despite all that.
But he would come in, and Blockbuster it wasn't just his escape. It was his enjoyment. It was that was his entertainment. That was his passion for. There was a way to, all the stuff he went through, and the long story version is this man had multiple rounds of cancer and numerous other surgeries and replacement processes that defy explanation. He was the bionic man, legit. Yeah. But that was his thing. He wanted to come to Blockbuster literally every week and get one copy of every new release.
And we would hold it for him.
And I don't just mean the one big movie that came out. I mean every new release. He wanted every one of them. And that was his thing. And like you said, there's stuff like that you don't realize. And my point of all this is that you don't realize how much impact you can have on somebody's life by just being kind, being respectful, or just listening.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And there's going to be bad experiences with it too, and there's going to be funny experiences. And again, I know me and you've shared so many of them over the years. It's can again be here all night and then some.
Oh yeah.
But that is such a, like you said, that's a heavy story. But it really hammers that home that you have impact when you're interacting with people. You have an impact on them in a lot of ways. Like you said, you don't know what they're going through. You could be a massive help, and that's huge.
I had,
how rewarding is that to think back on? And think
no, it is.
Like I know this was before you were there.
Yeah.
But how many different instances or similar situations
exactly
like that could you have been a part of?
I had another one where it's much simpler. Where it was a gentleman who his father had passed away a few years ago. And when he was alive, it was just one of those situations where him and his dad they didn't have a lot in common. But what they had in common was every Friday when he got out of school, his dad would say, "Hey, let's go grab a movie," and they would go and for that whether it was 20 minutes one Friday or a couple of hours sometimes, like I said, just looking through all the different cover arts. Like I said, part of the whole Blockbuster thing is, hey, I found this on the wall. Then you have to look at it, you have to read it, all that stuff. And it sounds like it could be a good one, and it's hell, it can take you a while when you're by yourself, and let alone when you got someone with you. But he was telling me, he's like, whether it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 2 hours, in those 2 hours, they found common ground. They found things in common when they had nothing in common outside of their normal lives. But they would be like, hey, we like horror movies, or hey, we like this. And I'm just like, that's cool. And he was telling me that, seeing the shirt made him a little emotional, but not in a good way, because like I said, his dad had just passed away, I think like 3 years ago. But when he saw me wearing the shirt, it took him back to when they were there.
Nostalgia of good memories. Again, bonding experiences between a father and son. Yeah. That's pretty great.
And I mean, and I guess that's the thing is we have our stories, like you said, but
everybody else has stories
exactly.
too.
You know, the customers have stories too, and hearing customers tell me this, and just that they want to get a picture with me to show their kid or this and that, and it's like, damn. I mean, with one, I was just like, we had fun with it because, like I said, his dad, dad had his 2 or 3 kids with him and his wife, and like, oh man, this is what we used to. We didn't have this Netflix stuff. We didn't have all this. We had to go to the store and this and that. And these guys would have to, they would get the most lame description of a movie and have to know what the movie is. I'm like, yeah. And the kid's like, well, like what? I go, well, we would get the question like this. I go, hey, do you have the movie that had that guy that did that thing in that other movie that came out 2 years ago? And I'm like, yeah, it's Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen is on the wall over there. I said, and he looked at me, he goes, Clerks. I'm like, yeah, the customer's like, Clerks. I'm like, yes, sir. So, but but stuff like that. I mean, dude, that was his own language. It's like, hey, you got the movie that had that girl that won the Oscar that year for that other movie? Yeah, Hilary Swank, $1 Million Baby, whatever. Yeah. But yeah. But no, it's just, I guess that's kind of the theme of this episode outside of just the haul is there was so much Blockbuster love, even from Felissa Rose. From the original Sleepaway Camp. She's a sweetheart. She's so awesome. Very down to earth. But like her, dude, Tracy Lords commented about my Be Kind Rewind.
There you go.
I got a look from, I got like a quadruple take from Jenna Jameson. I walked by. What's his name? Return to Blue Lagoon. He played Leo in Charmed. I can't remember his name right now. Oh, it's gonna bug me, but I'll put it here. But he played Leo in Charmed, and he was in Return of Blue Lagoon. It's not. What's his name? Brian Krause. I think it's Brian Krause or something like that. It's not, anyway,
I don't remember.
We passed each other several times, and like I looked, and he had a beard. He was wearing a baseball cap, and I had to look at him. We passed each other several times, and he was looking me up and down like, that's cool, and I'm like, I know this man. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, oh, it's him. But like every time he passed me, he would have like his handler or somebody else was with him. And he goes, man, look, that's cool. He goes, that's cool. I'm like, dude, I'm getting talked about. I said, what, man, that's cool. Bam Margera was there too. And he looked at me and I walked away. No, I'm going to say, look, Bam Margera, look, but like I think the last month or two, you've been seeing all this public meltdown and stuff, but he's been putting a lot of like fan interactions at conventions where people are asking him to hit them. Like they'll be like, "Here, hit me," and he'll do the whole Jackass style where he's coming from behind and he's like, "Ugh," and I'm just like, nah. I'm like, I will admire from a distance.
Why are you hating, man?
I'm not hating. I just don't want to get hurt. Dude, okay,
you're gonna hurt you just to hurt you. They're asking for it.
But I didn't want him to get overzealous with the Blockbuster thing. I don't know. Look,
did you charge him late fees?
I didn't. I didn't get the money.
Okay,
Blockbuster may have, but I didn't.
Okay, just saying.
But anyway,
maybe you deserve to be hit. I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe. I can't say. Look, I'm sure I pissed off somebody at Blockbuster, especially with the call list. We're not going there. We're not. Or the FOS sheet. Anyway, going back to before we got sidetracked again. Look, we're gonna get sidetracked on these episodes. That's the fun part of it. But no, David Naughton. So after I got his picture with him, they had this really cool American Werewolf in London, like NECA, NECA, the brand of him in his wolf form is like this big, and this vendor had just got it autographed by David Naughton. And he was like, well, before the autograph, I paid $50 for it. With the autograph, he's asking like $100. And I'm like, look, I get it. And I'm like, so I'm here like, could I find something else to get autographs? And I remembered that there was this little Toonie Terrors, the little cartoony version of it, where they actually had one that was Jack and David. Jack is in his zombie form and David is in his wolf form. And I've been looking for that for God knows how long. Ever since it came out. I mean, I can't special order it. It's hard to find this and that. And I walk by and I say that to my son and Jaden just goes, Dad, you mean that one? I'm like, huh? Yes, that one in pristine condition. I have not opened it. I'm probably not going to open it, but this is what, like on Amazon, this goes for like $45 at least at the time that I was looking for it. The guy was selling it for $19. So I got it. And then I'm like, do I get David on to autograph it? Well, at that point, I wasn't sure. I went back. I was gonna say, the hell with it, I'm gonna do it. And unfortunately, he was gone for the night, and I wasn't gonna be back the next day. Dude. But no, the next time I go, now that I have it, it will be going with me, and I will be getting it autographed. There you go. But still, it's just the fact that I found it. Same thing, like I said, this has been out for some time. It came out in the stores, it came out at Walmart and stuff, but really fast. It was sold out to the point you can't order it. Last time I checked on Amazon, it's not even available. So I was very bummed. So when I saw it just sitting there, literally, I had passed it like I don't know how many times that day. Okay, and it just was there. Actually, it was near where I bought this. So
really,
yeah,
like vendor right next door.
Pretty much, man. But that is so cool. I mean, those setups are so cool, though. But no, man, like I said, in October, you have to go with me. And we have to go as the Blockbuster dude, so we'll be, together.
That's fair.
Well, we gotta find your shirt.
Like I said,
we gotta find your shirt.
Can my name tag say his dudeness? So?
Hell yes. Look,
I had to ask.
We'll even see if we can get 3D printed versions of the name tags that say El Duderino and his dudeness.
All right, I'm in. I'm done.
Give me the love. But no, like I said, I don't know. It's the first time I actually went with my cameras, and I got pictures. But I didn't get any video footage because for the first time in a long time, I was having so much fun being a fan again. Like I said, being in the costume, it put me back in the sense of being a fan, not going for content and stuff like that. Right. So I didn't get any video content, and I'm fine with that.
No, that's great. And that's one of the things, having that break and having that connection, that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what's the point of going to a fan convention if you can't be a fan? I mean, yes, there's great ways to create content and come up with things to do and to interact, and those are all fantastic, but at heart, doesn't matter if you're a creator, if you're in the industry, it doesn't matter what it may be. Everybody's there and enjoys it because they're a fan.
Exactly.
Everybody enjoys it because it means something to them, and that's special, man.
No, yeah,
that's a big thing. And like I said, that's the beautiful thing about conventions. We're gonna bring this full circle here.
Yes, we are.
Going back to talking about conventions, when I was saying outright that it didn't matter if you're a fan of it, you respected other people's fandom while you're there.
Exactly.
And you got to see other people's fandom on display towards you.
Yeah. That's
unique, man. That's pretty killer. That's pretty awesome. And I don't think that's necessarily what you were going for. I think you were just having a good time. Like, I'm going to do this because it's cool. And
I was like, this must be cool. Let's see how many people actually remember it.
It took on a life of its own. So
it did.
It's really organic and really cool, man. So, like I said, I'm envious, and I definitely want to do that with you.
You need to.
Absolutely.
Like I said, by the time that I was done Saturday, I had pretty much said, okay, if at this point, if I ever go to a convention, it will be the Blockbuster dude every time. Mm-hmm. Forgot to silence his phone. I do it too. It's all fine. But no, like I said, from here on out, because look, it's one of those. It's not that I don't have the time to put it into it. It's just one of those. By that point, I'm like, I want to do this, but I want to make it look good. I don't have enough time, or I don't know how to pull it off. And I'm like, what was something that means a lot to me? Which strangely, someone's going to say a former job was, but like we said before, Blockbuster wasn't just a job. It was a lifestyle. It was, it was more than a job. Like I said, I don't feel like I was working when I was there. I was hanging with my peoples, I was hanging with my crew.
I might be aging myself here, but I believe my kids would say it was a whole vibe.
Oh God.
It was
yes, you did. But it was a whole vibe. It was a whole thing.
Yes, it was. And we said it before, say it again. Still my favorite job.
Oh, good Lord.
It checked off all those boxes of things that it didn't always feel like work.
Yeah, exactly.
We had fun with it. We were working with our friends.
Exactly.
We were talking about things we loved, movies and music, video games.
Oh yeah.
And everything else under the sun. And just, the connections and bonds and friendships were formed that lasted lifetimes. Look, we're living proof of that.
In the words of Scarface, we got higher on our own supply. Seriously, like we were fans of movies working in a movie rental store. Right. We were in hog heaven. Yes. And like I said, and what made it even better was we made lifelong friendships. We were with people who you know,
shared that same
99% of the people that worked, 99% of the people that worked at Blockbuster worked there because they had some kind of liking or love for movies. It wasn't just money. It wasn't just money because, like I said, at the end of the day, it was Blockbuster. As a customer service rep, you were making minimum wage.
Yeah, you weren't making a lot of money, man. It wasn't about the money. It was, I mean, don't get me wrong, making money doing something you enjoy is great.
Exactly.
It's the best way to be, but it wasn't a lot of money.
Yeah, no, at least not until you hit management.
But it was so much fun.
It was, oh man.
God, it was fun.
If the money wasn't a big issue, if they were still here, I would even entertain doing it part time on the weekends just to be back at doing it.
I would absolutely do it. Well, I would be able to do it during the day because I work nights.
Yeah,
so
you suck. Yeah,
yeah. When,
but I don't, because I don't want to do it at night.
What'd you say?
I said you suck, but you don't. I love you, man.
You wish, lover.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, don't threaten me with a good time. Anyway, but all joking aside, I actually would consider doing it again on the part-time thing. I give you that, but that's gonna be next time. So, wow, what a difference!
Never get tired of that.